and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I call the regular meeting to order, I just would like to take a moment of silence. We lost a really great member, and I want to recognize her and all the other loved ones that we've lost in the last while. At this time, I'll call the regular meeting to order for Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at the School Board of Education for Osceola School District. With a roll call vote, Jan? Here. Brooke? Here. Kaisa? Here. Wyatt? Here. Emma? Here. Jeff? Here. And myself are here. This public meeting of the Osceola Board of Education is for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Public comment will be recognized during the public comment portion of the meeting after acknowledgement by the board chair. When called to speak, approach the podium and state your first and last name and your topic. All remarks should be addressed to the whole board, not any one specific person. Each comment will be allowed for up to 5 minutes. During the public comment portion, the board and administration listen, but may choose not to respond to public comment. We ask speakers and audience members to conduct themselves in a professional manner, which includes no waving or hand gesturing, no vocal interference with speaker during their time to address the school board, no disruption or incitement to disrupt, influence, impair speakers' ability to deliver their comments, no taunting, ridicule, or other deliberate demonstrative behavior directed at others on their views. Please use appropriate language, tone, and gestures while speaking. Failure to comply with the request may result in you being asked to leave the meeting. First up for public comment, and I believe I'm reading Charles Leader, Senior Community Perspective. And I think he just left. So next up is Teresa Utke, topic to be addressed, everything.
I would like to thank the teachers, board members, and the community that attend this meeting. The work and time and investment you've done, the amount of hours is innumerable. I have several questions and concerns I'd like to address. First of all, I'd like to know where the audited report is that was due in December to the state. This was for finances that were closed in June of 2022. This is a repeat issue. I addressed this last year.
May I address her?
Yes.
Thanks. Teresa, I can answer that question for you.
Yeah.
So Clifton Larson Allen is our auditor. They have to do an additional report for GASB reporting. Jonathan, who is our auditor for the school district, just contacted us this week to state that they still needed some information regarding their HRA documents. And they have to go through that process in order to finalize the audit fees. So it's nothing on the school district's end that is missing. There are a number of districts across the state that do not have their audit turned in to the state yet.
We are looking at between a $3 million and a $9 million year-over-year deficit. This is catastrophic for the retired people and people on a fixed income in our community. We had a board member request a review of the public comment policy. I specifically request that you look at items F and K. This is not a policy to increase public comment. It's an effort to reduce and diminish public interaction. Items that have been spoken in the last several years repeatedly: budgets, correcting information that was misleading or missing from the public view. For example, we audited reports earlier. Dual sports, vaccines, masks, new buildings, backloading our debt schedule, or even fiduciary responsibility. If we move public comment to the committee meeting, would actually restrict those who could attend and comment. The biggest question is, why are students leaving our district? Why are they moving to homeschooling or private schooling? Is it because of buildings? Or is it because of curriculum? Is it because of the consistency of learning when we're facing minor obstacles, such as snow days, when every single student in this building has the technology to get an education every single day? When we reflect upon things that got us to this point that we are facing between a 3 million and an 8 million year-over-year shortage, it is truly about the number of students in our building. Our finances are tied directly to it. We had a former board member, actually several former board members, write a book about our community. And they said, build it and they will come. They most definitely have come to our district. This was written back in 1998, I believe. At that point, or 1996, we had 1,522 students when that was written. We now have 1,486 students projected in 2023. And we only have 59 students planned in 4K. The build it and they will come strategy did not work, nor has the new age curriculum or woke agenda. Maybe it's time to return to the basics that did work when our school district led Western Wisconsin and the community. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the hard work that you do. And I really hope that you look at the people who create the build it and they will come agenda. They wrote it, so I'm gonna quote their names. Tim Johnson, Sue Gross, Kathy Olson, Roseanne Anderson, and Craig Brunslick. They put us in this situation. It's your job, you've been elected and you've been chosen by the community to dig us out. Thank you.
Next up on the is Mark Hobbs for Revenue Solutions.
My name is Mark Hobbs. I don't have all the solutions, I'm not as organized as your previous speaker. I haven't written anything down, but one of the things that I look at is our revenue shortfalls that are far from. I also realize that when I walk through the schools, when classes are in session, I see empty classrooms. I don't know the numbers, I don't know the percentages, I don't know what our enrollment has dropped, but I know it's dropped. We need to have some serious numbers looked at to see if we can condense down the 3 schools, eliminate the cost of the 4th school, and see if that is really feasible. And then we'll have the additional revenue to cover the shortfalls. I would like to see those in the reports when they come to me for a survey as to where we really are with those numbers, instead of we have an option to build a new school, we're spending millions on an old school, and we may not even need the old school because we have that space somewhere else that isn't being utilized. I want a real serious effort made to study that and understand if that will work for us. Thank you.
Next up, Lisa Schiebel with public comment.
I saw that you guys were reviewing the public comment policy tonight. And I know most of you know that I appreciate the opportunity to talk during public comment time. Just tonight, I read the Osceola Sun, and every candidate running for the school board spoke about how important it was to gain community input. I'm asking that you do not limit this time or move it to a time that is unreasonable for so many people to attend. Don't take away the opportunity to listen to your community members. Because sometimes when no one is listening, and it happens, all you have left is public comment time to be heard. Thank you.
Next up is Sterling Cuskey. You an OES.
So first of all, thank you for your time to speak here tonight. Not my first time, and I appreciate the two speakers before are talking about enrollment numbers. And I think we need to focus on the fact that it's not just about enrollment numbers, but is about safety and health of our students and our staff at the elementary school. And that needs to be taken into consideration. There's another parent here tonight and a community member that sent you an email that was very detailed, well-researched, that cited a 2018 inspection report. I went through that inspection report. That is already outdated. And it is concerning to me to have a child in that school with safety and health concerns. We cannot just keep taking steps backwards and making this decision and put the health and the safety of our kids at risk and do nothing. Some members of this board state they do not have enough information to make decisions about the next steps for the Osceola Elementary School. And it is absolutely unacceptable for the information to not be there. This has been going on since 2016, if not 2014, maybe before. I don't know, I've seen references back to 2014. How can we as a board not have the information that we need to make these decisions every single night? We plan out the agendas. Why is there not a packet of information and data? Why isn't the board members, why are not the board members requesting this information so that they have it, so decisions can be made moving forward instead of taking huge steps backwards? I remember a long time ago being at a meeting where it was hashed out, the 8 options that were on the table, it was finally narrowed down to 2. Now we're going way back again, looking at all of the options again. Well, we have serious concerns at the elementary school, and when I mention serious concerns, we're talking about a ventilation system that is way out of date, possible mold issues, water damage, electrical. These are things that I think we need to take a serious look at. And if the 2018 inspection report is dated, why are we not requesting a state inspection report? Are we even up to code on that? I think this is part of what we need to be speaking about, not just enrollment numbers. We're not talking about just adding on space, we're talking about the safety of a building. And lastly, in closing, and my family moved here in 2016. We live halfway between Osceola and St. Croix Falls. I toured both schools, St. Croix Falls and Osceola, in 2016. And I ended up open enrolling my daughter at St. Croix Falls. Because when I toured the school, even then, to me, it felt outdated, uncared for, not safe. We ended up coming back to the school district because I value Lindsay's values and beliefs, her leadership style. We live in Osceola, we vote in Osceola, so we ended up coming back. But how long are we going to let people open enroll because we're not caring for our school, for our teachers, for our staff, for staff retention? These are all issues that we need to take into consideration. And how long are we gonna let it go before staff or students get hurt in that building as well? Thank you for your time.
Next up is Jamie Wushka. Did I say that right?
It does make.
Oh, yes.
There's like 5 ways to say it, but. Alright, so Jamie Mache, thank you for your time tonight. I know you guys have heard from me. I've been attending board meetings periodically as I'm able to since last April. And it's just been a really great experience. We have younger kiddos in the district and we love Osceola. We want to be there for the long haul. But over the last year, I've really, personally myself, attending the meetings have really learned a lot. And I see some significant challenges our district faces, and that you as current board members, you're challenged with a very tough task, and many of them. So I understand that, and I appreciate the time and the work you guys are doing. But with that all said, I do have the concerns of the current safety of the Osceola Elementary School. Information that I've requested from the district, received information
from 2018, so I have that spreadsheet and printout if you guys want a printed copy. In 2018, elementary school, phase 1, safety and security, high needs only, and I believe Bob probably put this together in 2018. A lot of these items from 2018 are still on our list in 2023. And I sent out a spreadsheet where I compiled, some of the key top priorities. There's like 18 level 1 priority and safety concerns for Osceola Elementary School alone. And as I worked through that spreadsheet, I highlighted some that I think are like alarming. Our fire code is not code compliant, and it hasn't been since 2014 or 2018. What do we need to do as a board or district to get that done? I don't know what that really means, other than it says not code compliant. To me, that seems like a concern that we should address. Secure entrance. Osceola Elementary School is the only school building in the district with not the fully secure entrance. I appreciate the conversation at the committee meeting to better understand that as a parent of what that means. I know we have the exterior locked door, however, we don't have that vestibule, and there's future things coming, but I really think our secured entrance is an important topic now for the elementary school. Those are just a couple to name a few, and just, even myself witnessing water leaking from the ceiling into a garbage can and seeing a tile, just if you look down the row, they're all deformed and like some aren't even there. Those are the same pictures that I saw just recently in the board packet from 2014, and I witnessed this now myself in 2023. So it brings my questions of like the ventilation system, like how is the building safe? Has there been a new air quality inspection? I think those are current serious health and safety concerns that this district and board need to consider. And I did recommend or look into some form of up-to-date analysis of the building from a safety perspective. You have hundreds of students and staff walking into that building every day, spending 8, 9, 10 hours in there. Part of your conversation with meetings and schedules, I highly recommend you guys schedule a tour of the elementary school as a board in the very near future during school hours. Go into every classroom, see for yourself. It is a tight ship there with all the spaces and all the needs, and I can't give enough kudos to the staff of the elementary school. Lindsay, guidance counselor team, they are just working, all the staff are just working their butts off to really provide the best given the environment that they have, and our learning environment is so important for especially our youngest learners. So I just really encourage you to schedule a tour of the facility together. And just in closing, I know we talked about enrollment numbers. I would argue that it's somewhat speculative because we don't know the economic growth and developments of the village here and in the community. I've been attending village meetings. There's some potential development opportunities. I really feel like there needs to be some more research and data around what that opportunity is to get more residents coming back to Osceola, increase our tax base. That will help those schools, because we don't want to be in a situation, if there is that growth and development, we do have people come to Osceola and then all of a sudden don't have space again. So I just think really work closely with the village, understanding what the village can do in support for developments coming in that aligns with younger families or whatnot. So working together to try to get some, additional families here as well. So I guess in closing, I really appreciate having a separate committee meeting. We only got 15 minutes tonight to talk about these really big things, but I really encourage this short-term, long-term parallel tracks of what you're gonna do now, what you're gonna do in the long run, because I really think you can't dismiss current safety as concerns for our staff and students. So, thank you.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Are there any items board members wish to be removed from the consent agenda? If not, the board chair calls for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make that motion.
There's been a motion by Brooke. Is there a second? Second by Jan. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is to approve the retirement for Kenneth Phelan.
Yes. April's be here soon, and Ken's gonna be wrapping it up, 24.5 years, 25 years. So definitely a bus driver angst of his. And he's reached a lot of different people over the years, and definitely will be missed. So give you doing best through those things.
Forgot to ask him, is he stepping down from bus riding as well?
He has to retire, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve Kenny's retirement.
Is there a motion by Kaisa, second by Brooke? Any discussion?
No, just thanks for his years of service, he's definitely a big one, Osceola.
He's done a lot for community events and for the school events. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is the school board committee report, and since I didn't ask, I will report. So we had a special committee meeting on Monday, February 20th. Agenda items, we will be spending referendum dollars at Osceola Middle School and Osceola High School for vape sensors in the bathrooms and locker rooms. There's also been a prevention / educational piece that has gone out to the community. We discussed 1 to 5 year district department needs. We had Bob, Carlene, Susan, and Steve present their 1 to 5 year, needs for their departments. We also looked at, district space planning and how much space in regards to what we have and what's being utilized, kind of at a high level. We started some discussion with the elementary school with the plan to come back and look at, the 8, 9 different, grade plans. And then we looked at enrollment projections. Today's committee meeting, for Wednesday, March 8th, we, discussed the inclement weather plan, which will be on the agenda later in regards to, making up our snow days and how that's going to look. We talked about 23-24 teachers' salary information and looked at some comparables with, further discussion to happen at next meeting with Mark hopefully bringing some comparables back from CISA. We looked at public comment policy 0167.3. We'll have some follow-up from Neola in regards to, meeting definition. And then bring that back to the next meeting. And then we looked at policy 0164.1 for regular meetings, with a potential to look at where future meetings are being held. And we'll bring that back and look at, the definition of committee meeting also, and the calendar for next school board meeting rotation. Then we had a 15-minute discussion on the continued 1 to 5 year planning with, we will be having a special meeting, hopefully before the end of March, to continue to work on that. We had administrator reports from all the administrators. Did I miss anything? The board work plan was also pushed to next meeting. Next on the agenda is 2022-23 budget update.
Yeah, so this is the normal report that we have been giving for revenues and expenditures. In discussion with Lynette Edwards most recently, we are running tight with our budget for this year. We will definitely know more. We will cut off purchase orders on April 15th. That's our normal date. It's also tax day. Haven't had your taxes filed.
Right.
But running real tight, related to, the budget. But you can see the allocations in both revenues and expenditures. We do a lot of spending, in the last 3 months of our school year too. So remember, our fiscal year ends June 30th. We paid out all those, pieces, including summer school, and advanced payrolls, for the summer months for, teaching staff. There were some additional question items that were asked from board members. That's the other document, April, that's there.
Mark, real quick though, when you're saying we're running tight with the budget, is that based on the budget assumption that we will have a balanced budget at the end of the year?
Correct. So when our debt payments made, debt payments are due in May and November. Principal and interest are due in May and interest only in November. There was questions about the statements with the debt process. I didn't get, the final update. I know that it's, not required, I think Jan was your question. The Woofer code does suggest that that can be the way that it is. We haven't done that work before with the tax the tax dollars coming in and the bank statements that you were, the information you requested.
I'm confused. So you don't have a separate bank account for the debt payments?
The one that, yeah, the bank statement that I utilize is what the process has been with the district for, since whenever, I guess. But there isn't a requirement to report them separately, based on the Woofer codes.
So do we know the balance that has been levied previously that's sitting there that has not been paid on debt?
In our fund, from our most recent bond question.
So you can even go at the end of December. So at the end of December, how much money had we levied previously that is in an account or separated on your budget relating to money that's been levied from the taxpayers and sitting on our books at December 31st?
I don't have that information. If you can specify that specifically, we can get it for the evening. We talked about the audit, and again, that is just because of the requirements for additional reporting, and the information. I think one had to send something out to board members regarding the delay in that. Did we use any COVID money from the state to add any staff? The only staff that we added were the temporary part-time nurses, and those were not continued after the 2021 school year. The other question was fund balance, how much fund balance had been added the last 3 years. You can see the dollar amounts there. The additional dollars in 2021, the $477,000, is the committed funds for the sale of the school forest land. We have not done any short-term borrowing. That was one of our goals. And then you can see for the 21-22 school year, that's the estimated amount once we get our final audit back. But we went and considered that a good piece to put into play for our first year of our self-funded formula. Our current fund balance is at 28%, which is within our policy of 20 to 30%.
So in regards to our audit, just to let you guys know, the Clifton Larson Allen has been working on our audit due to staffing issues on their end. Our audit is delayed, which is pretty much happening on other districts also. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. The goal is for them to have it completed so that we can present in an April meeting, correct? So that's where the audit is right now. So it's all in Clifton Larson Allen's hands, waiting for them to finalize and complete.
Is there any penalties or anything from TPI? Have we
There's
had
not.
charted it?
There was a very good understanding related to the additional reports that need to be done. But the staffing piece is soon, related to that, but many districts do not still have their budgets submitted, and it's not by any fault of anyone from the district. It might want to make sure that people are clear with that.
Is there other companies that offer, audits that we should look at?
There's a list of auditors in the state. We had that discussion prior to Lynette leaving. It'll be a discussion point as we move forward with the business.
There's also a shortage of auditors throughout the state, so whether or not a new company can offer a faster service would remain to be seen.
I've always been happy with they've done a good job, so.
Well, we always take cost into consideration as well. There is a district close by that utilizes a different one, it's about twice the cost. So if that's something the board would want to put on for additional expenditure, we certainly can do that, but no, that's still possible.
question about how much we put into the fund balance the last 3 years. I thought I also asked a question about Fund 46, seem to have that on the agenda. Because if we had taken 10%, so the total that was added just in these last 3 years is over $2 million. It's $2,247,000. If we have taken 10% of that and put that into Fund 46, we'd be at $224,000, which would help with repairs in any of our buildings in case we had an emergency. And still, that Fund 46 sits at $500 from back in 2008. That's why I asked the question about how much had been added to, and I know that you guys increased it so we wouldn't have to short-term borrow, so we're saving interest in that way. But I'm wondering, as we close out 23, if we might look at moving some money, if there's excess money, into Fund 46, so that we could start to build a savings net for us in case we had an emergency in the building. We would have money and we would not be taking it out of the current year, budgets.
It's definitely an option for the end of the year, right? If you recall back, I believe 2 years ago, their auditor, when he did the presentation, he also told us that our, fund balance is considerably low. So to consider increasing that, that's where we have a policy change to get us closer to the 30%. And that was a board decision.
Right, and now
But
you're
Fund
up
46
there.
Fund 46 is available as a year-end piece, once everything is finalized.
So I just don't want us to lose sight of that, because there is a way for us to put money aside for building repairs.
So when you're talking year-end, Mark, that would mean then by, say, June 30th, the board would have to have a discussion in regards to that then?
I don't know that it's June 30th, because again, we don't finalize our budgets or the actual audit till later. Like, for example, health insurance, we have to run over even after the anniversary renewal for the, it'd definitely be a topic. I'll put my notes down that we have a discussion about that, for next year.
Anything else, board? Next is to review and approve the 22-23 inclement weather plan.
Recommend approval as presented at the committee meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the inclement weather plan as presented.
There's been a motion by Brooke,
For the 22-23 school year.
I'll second it.
and there's been a second by Diane. Any discussion?
I would just say that I went on record that there would be no more snow days in March. So Lindsay's gone, but you're safe on Friday.
I didn't know you had that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes to approve the 22-23 inclement weather plan. Next is to review and approve early college credit program applications. And I'm gonna abstain from voting in case my daughter's in there.
So these recommend approval. These are items that we don't have any control over. We're not for certain whether they will get all their classes for sure, because if they're offered or not. But I know that Mr. Spiegel and the counselors go through all of those items. I do recommend approval of the early college credit program applications as presented.
I'll make that motion.
There's been a motion by Kaisa. Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Brooke. Any discussion?
I have a couple of questions. So is there a set number of credits the school pays for of these secondary options for students?
I believe it's 18.
Yeah, so, there's kind of a two-pronged approach to the early college credit program, which is through, only Wisconsin schools, four-year universities. And then there's Start College Now, which is through the technical schools in the state of Wisconsin. Every student can earn up to 18 credits, of which the school district can pay for. Thankfully, the state recently has opened it up. They used to limit it just during the school year. They used to limit it to if you offered a comparable course and what percent of the content and all of these things. And it really kind of inhibited kids from exposing themselves and trying that college material. Unfortunately, the universities haven't kept up with the schools, so right now our kids are applying March 1st for summer classes, and they don't even have summer offerings out. So you'll see pages and pages of, my daughter as an example would put 20 of them down. She'll be lucky to get one, because they don't even know if that class is offered. So it does look scary, the amount that are on there, but we strongly encourage kids to do that, to be safe, because right now she was in a class at UW Milwaukee that wasn't even supposed to be offered this spring. You just kind of don't know what it is. So each kid can take 18 credits through either or, not together, of which the school district is required to pay for. And it's a great opportunity for our kids. I mean, we're sending kids to college with a lot of credits. That is a great opportunity to get ahead and jumpstart in college.
So, have we had kids hit that 18
Yep.
number?
Yeah, yep. I would say, I mean, every college, not every, a lot of college classes are 3 credits. So, if they start their junior year, they could take, 6th or junior, 3, and we do have quite a few that do them over the summer because they don't want to do them in their school year, which is fine. Whatever works in their schedule, and it all depends what's kind of be offered.
Are you seeing more and more kids signing up for this?
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it is double, if not triple, the number of kids that are doing it. We try to make them as aware as possible of different opportunities to start. College isn't cheap. I think you told me for Brandon to go to UW Eau Claire is $18,000, and that's a state school to live on campus. So, I mean, any avenue that we can help get some of these kids, and we're very fortunate, like with this crew here, they're getting credits within what we're offering here in our own curriculum with our own teachers, which is positive, because almost all of them are virtual. That a lot of those, and that's a tough learning environment, especially at a college level. It's a different animal.
So there's been a motion by Kaisa, a second by Brooke. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The next committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 12th, 2023 at 5 p.m. in the high school LGI. The next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 12th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in the high school LGI. At this time, we'll adjourn to executive session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. 19.851F, consider financial, medical, social, or personal histories if discussed in public would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such